奇异博士即将在10月25日上映。我前几天有幸到香港采访饰演奇异博士的班奈迪克康柏拜区，以及饰演古一大师的蒂妲史云顿，以及导演。
I'm a YouTuber from Taiwan, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah,
right?
I'm very good, thank you. Fantastic. You have a magical pose scene in the video Hero X. And how many times did it take you to get it right?
A few times. I won't lie. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it was great to try and get right.
Were there any harder spells to cast than this one?
The Hero Axe video,
yeah,
you mean?
No.
Than the video for Marvel?
No, I mean then the pose you did in that video.
Oh, that
pose, yeah.
Were there harder ones? Yes, well, especially ones that were involved in bits of action, because that's the tricky part, is when you're trying to conjure magic at the same time as playing a scene, especially if you're in motion or there's some kind of other additional drama. That can be pretty hard.
Wow.
But it's practice, and you get used to it after a while. So even doing that and running, that was quite hard, especially with the cloak. But listen, I mean, it's all great fun to try and do. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. All right, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. So, Tilla, you've played some magical characters in the past, Gabriel and Constantine, White Witch, and Narnia. Well, what's the biggest difference between those characters and Ancient One?
The Ancient One is really, really good-hearted, and yeah, I mean, what I suppose the Ancient One has in common with those two characters is that they're all pretty long-lived. But the Ancient One is, the Ancient One is a force for good, and the White Witch was the epitome of evil. And Constantine, Gabriel was kind of on the edge, although he had fantastic wings. But no, the Ancient One is on the side of the angels, truly.
Fantastic. You spent a year teaching English in the Buddhist monastery.
I did.
And can you talk about how that experience affected how you play Doctor Strange?
A little bit, I guess, because as a kid who was educated in England, in London, to go to India alone and then to teach in a Tibetan Buddhist monastery, which had it was in a small village called Sanada, just outside of Darjeeling. So you're in West Bengal. It's a border of many countries. There were Nepali, Chinese, Bangladeshi, people from Bhutan, as well as Tibetans and Indians. So the multi-ethnicity was incredible. The multiculturalism was incredible. All these traditions, Sikh, Buddhist, Hindu, all there. And I was teaching in this monastery, and I learnt a profound amount. I was already interested in science and the kind of crossover between Eastern mysticism, if you want to call it that, the ancient traditions, and Western philosophy and Western logic in the form of science. I read and do still now read popular science as much as I can understand, which is not very much as a layperson. But it thrills me and engages me and inspires me. And there's always a point where even the theorists and the experts say this is beyond our understanding, this is beyond our sensory dualistic reality. We have to use our imagination and have some kind of faith, or imagine ourselves into a context where this string theory or quantum theory could be possible. And that's, when you're dealing with things that are beyond proof in science, that gets quite close to certain overlaps with mysticism. So I was very interested in those kind of interplays, and he kind of is the personification of that. He's a neurosurgeon who loses everything in his material world to discover that he has great power in a more mystical world.
Scott, you're most known for your horror movies. What kind of horror elements have you brought into this film?
Nothing that's straight horror, but certainly the imaginative nature of horror. Bringing unreality into reality, bringing the fantastical into the real world. It's certainly that. There's a similarity between my work in that genre and this, in that regard. But what I brought in was from the comics. It was the supernatural, fantastical world of the comics, the other dimensional mind trip stuff from the comics.
Yeah. And what is the hardest part of the action scenes, and how did you train for it?
Oh, the action scenes were great fun, and they were wonderful. It wasn't the action scenes that were difficult. What was really difficult was casting the spells and remembering these very complex lines at the same time. That was quite tricky because we worked with this tutting that J Funk taught us. But doing that, like I'd been doing it for 500 years, and remembering the lines, that was trickier. But the action stuff was great. That was really good fun.
Okay. And from what I've seen, the cloak of levitation is more like a character rather than an object.
Stop. I was really keen on that. I mean, we improvised a few things. I say we as if the cloak of levitation was there on set with its its own credit and a trailer. Maybe it will in the sequel because it's going to prove a very popular character. But I saw the cloak as a sort of sidekick. You know, it has a great personality. I can't give too much away about what happens, but there are certain moments where I had fun, and I think Scott was of the same mind that we needed to give this cloak as much character as possible.
Yep. And was there any part of the movie that both of you feel very difficult to present when filming?
Difficult to
present on screen.
Well, it's all difficult to present in the sense that it all a leap of faith. It's all, and that's not dissimilar to all filming, but it really is a universe that we have to take on trust is going to translate. I mean, all the special effects sequences are entirely imaginary, and so we have to trust that they are going to be that, and so that the characters that we're playing are going to be reacting to that. So I suppose a good part of it is pretty difficult. I don't know.
I mean, the big set pieces, especially the Hong Kong set piece, was extremely difficult technically. You know, and that stuff is hard for the actors too. You know, Benedict was out on the cold street night after night for weeks to finish that scene because it was very technically difficult and it goes very slow. You know, that stuff is hard for everyone because it's so time consuming.
And what do you look forward to the most in the future of Marvel Cinematic Universe? I
mean, I'm part of the Avengers now, which is so thrilling, so exciting, and yeah, I'm very excited about working with the other cast members and the other characters. I'm sure I'll have that fanboy moment when I'm first on the set, looking at everyone else in their costumes, going, "Wow, I'm here with these guys. That's great fun." So yeah, I'd say that's the next step I'm looking forward to with Doctor Strange.
Quick questions for both of you. Ready? If you could name the cloak of levitation, what would it be? What would be the name you give it?
Rosie.
Thermidor.
Okay. If Hannibal cooked for you, what would you want to eat?
Hannibal?
Yep.
Brains.
And you?
Liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Nice. What does the Ancient One browse with the Wi-Fi they have in Kamartaj?
What's this, my mantra? It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
Carpets.
And fans?
No. She can make fans with magic. She doesn't need that, but you can't find carpets in Kathmandu.
All right.
Yeah.
I think she is obsessed with 50s rock and roll. Always looking for new stuff online.
All right. So some quick questions for you.
Yeah.
If Doctor Strange met Sherlock, what would be the first sentence they say to each other?
Sherlock would say, "What are you wearing?" And I'm sure Doctor Strange would go, "You can talk. Why are you wearing that long hot coat?" I don't know. Get something like that.
Yeah, I would totally watch it.
It will never happen. But yeah.
If you created your own alternate dimension, what would it look like?
It would look like my home. Yeah, definitely. Okay. It would look like my home. Something I could travel with me wherever I was.
And who has better beard, Stephen Strange or Tony Stark?
You know, that would be insulting to either of our barbers to question, but of course I'd say mine.
Yeah, I won't tell Robert Downey Jr.
Always makeup artist. Mine's right here, so I had to say that.
So lastly, would you kindly say hi to the audiences in Taiwan?
Yeah, sure, of course. Hi, Taiwan. Thank you very much for watching this. Please go and see the movie when it comes out. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Pleasure.
for your time. Thank
That's
you.
a pleasure. Thank you.
Quite a few actors were considered to play the Ancient One, Bill Nighy and Morgan Freeman, Ken Watanabe. Why did you cast Tilda over the others?
None of those actors were considered.
Really?
Yeah, most of what you read on the internet is not true.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. No, it's okay. It was, yeah, you're a YouTuber, you should know that.